Pastor E.R Williams would like to take this time to welcome you to ITM, praying that you come in and be blessed spiritually and physically. We would like to take this time to invite you to our Sunday school, start at 9:30, and then to our Sunday service that started at 11, and to our Bible study that is really enlightening, where it would take you to a deeper depth in God and understanding His Word. So the best thing to coming out is understanding how you go in. So today we would like to welcome you, your family, your friend, even your enemies, because God is able to change your enemy and make them your footstools. So we want to take this time to invite you to an awesome ministry that is about family, that is about marriage, that is about children. From the greatest to the smallest is our concern for the kingdom. Come and join us every Sunday, every Wednesday, and even Monday nights on prayer. And also remember, we have Women Chat every third Friday. Come out, get involved, get uplifted, get moving for the kingdom. God bless you.
And here's my vow. My son, if you can remember me, in spite of what's going on, I need you to remember. Because right now, I need a son to carry on my name. And she said, if you give me a son, she said, from this day, I'll give him back to you. Touch somebody and tell him what you got is not yours. Tell him this, it's time to give it back. Because God is about to multiply what you have to give you more than what you need. Now you got to understand that in the process, you got to learn how to be patient. And you got to go through the process. The blessing is good, but it's the process that causes problems. The blessing I can get, but it's the process that I got to learn how to deal with. It's the waiting to God figure out that it's time for me to receive what He promised. Now, when Hannah told that she left, one thing I learned, that prayer and fasting will turn things around. Touch somebody and tell them, keep praying. Sooner or later, God is going to bring you out. You got to understand that even you got to pray for your child, even though it look like they're going astray. Touch somebody, tell them sooner or later. You got to learn how to believe that God has flipped the script, even though they're still hanging where they're hanging. Touch somebody, tell them sooner or later. And you got to know that even though you don't have it yet, you got to start acting like you already got it. High five somebody and tell them you got to act like you got it before you even got it. Tell them you got to walk like you got it before you even got it. You got to think like you got it before you even possess it. You got to start dressing like you got it before you even get it, because it's your faith beforehand that will determine your release on the end. Touch somebody and tell them sooner or later. And Hannah had to make up her mind that even though she didn't have it, she knew that God would make provision for us. Now watch this. You got to change what you do in order to get what you want. You can't operate the same way and look for God to give you what you desire. Touch somebody and tell them your thinking has got to change. You might even have to move from your old thinking to a new thinking. Tell somebody sometime you got to change your position. You got to change your thinking. You got to change how you talk. Even though Hannah knew that she couldn't, but God was about to fertilize her. He was about to inseminate her with a seed that was greater than her own. I don't know who I'm talking to, but somebody's already figured they ain't coming out. But I made up my mind. Lord, if you can help me to preach like a madman while I'm in the text, if you can have me to preach like I'm crazy while I'm going through, your best worship is when you can praise it while you're here. Your best praise is when you can tell him thank you when everything's not going right. Your best glory it is when it looked like everything is going against you, but yet you managed to praise him. Hannah said, wait a minute. They all are talking about me, saying I'll never come out. They're showing me their baby. They're showing me their children. But Hannah had to make up her mind. Sooner or later, my time is coming, and God is going to bring me out. One thing Hannah had to do was change how she worshiped. She had to start going to church and telling God, I praise you in advance. When I found out that Eli was a priest in the church, sometimes those that you worship with will be the very one that talk against you. But you gotta keep coming in spite of what they say, because you are not coming for them. You're coming for the promise. And you told God, if you just remember me as I do what I'm supposed to do, just tell somebody in due season, he's gonna bring you out. Hannah used to go to church at 12, but Hannah started getting up at 9 and going down to the worship center. And he sat in the church, and Eli was watching. When you make a vow, somebody is always watching to see whether you hold your vow. They're not trying to see whether you're going to complete it, but they are waiting for you to mess up. They're waiting for you to turn around. They're waiting for you to give up. But touch somebody, tell them sooner or later, I'm coming out of this. Sooner or later, God's going to make a way. And she was sitting there. And she was asking a question. What's this now? The thing that threw Eli out was that her lips was moving. Sometimes it's not good for everybody to hear what you're praying, because the enemy always wants to cut you short. He always wants to jump ahead of your plan and throw distraction in your way. The Bible says she was praying. The Bible said her lips was moving, but Eli saw nothing coming out. And as he watched her, she was still praying. Look at somebody and tell him, even though the words don't come out, I'm going to praise it from my heart. And sometimes it's not good to tell everybody what you want, because the enemy is out to deceive. And if he could stop your blessing, he'll set up roadblocks. But you got to remember, sooner or later, God's going to make a way around. And Hannah was sitting there. I did sit on one side. And Hannah was sitting there. And she knew what she made a vow to. And she was praying and asking God, Lord, I need you to make a way. He's going to become my friend. I might be confused, but sooner or later, he's going to clear my mind. Let somebody tell him, keep coming. Sooner or later, God's going to make a way. You got to learn not to come for somebody else, but when you come for yourself, God is going to open a door. Wait a minute, y'all. Maybe I'm preaching to me, but let me preach to myself, because right now I need God to do an emergency search. I need him to open my heart and pour into me a new England. Hannah kept praying. She said, Lord, don't forget about me. Time went on, and after a while there was no sign of deliverance, no sign of pregnancy, no sign that a son was there. But after a while, Hannah kept coming early in the morning before the door was open. Hannah was at the tabernacle praying and saying, remember me. Late in the midnight, praying, remember me. Early say in the afternoon, remember me. And God told her that I won't forget you. Sometimes you got to rely on what God told you. If you don't see nothing change, but tell him you told me. If you don't see nothing happen, tell him you told me. If there's no sign, tell him you told me. But keep coming. See, one thing I found out is that when I heard people say, that Lord, that I need more, the Lord told me, like Hannah, when there's a purpose, the purpose fulfills the more. Because when you walk in purpose, you don't have time to ask for more. Because the purpose keeps you busy enough that you don't have time to look for nothing else but where you're going. Purpose will focus you on your destiny. Purpose will fulfill your empty spaces. When you got something you're working for, you don't have to look for nothing else. Somebody just shout purpose. Purpose will eliminate your wanting more. Because purpose will get you so tied up into what you're going for, you won't look for nothing else. Somebody just shout more. When I looked at her, I said, I understand, Hannah. Because there have been times when I said, Lord, I can't take any more condition and body. He said, but you got to keep coming. Hannah kept coming. Sometimes you got to look like you lost your mind. Sometimes you got to do things that don't make sense. Sometimes you got to get out of your normal activity. Sometimes you got to do something different. When you used to go around the mountain this way, turn and go the opposite way. Tell somebody you got to change up some stuff. Even in your house, you got to change your furniture around to give you a different look at where you are. Tell them you got to dress. If you don't do nothing but move a chair, it's got to be something changed. If you don't do nothing but put on a different shirt, it's got to be a change for the process. Hannah kept praying. Hannah kept seeking God. I told the Lord, I said, Lord, I'm at that breaking point. God said, I won't accept your resignation. He said, because you got to understand that there is a more. And it's soon or later, you're going to come out of this. And the thing you got to understand, it might be in your praise. I don't know who I'm talking to. Somebody might have walked off and left you. But God told me to tell you sooner or later that if you keep coming, he'll make the difference. Somebody may have let you down, but you got to say sooner or later, I'm going to get over what happened in my life. Somebody might have lied on you, but you got to forgive them and tell them sooner or later. One thing that'll hold you is unforgiveness. Unforgiveness would hold up all of your blessings. Unforgiveness would stop what God is bringing to you. I told the Lord, then if I got to do it by myself, touch somebody next to you and tell them, you got to learn how to break out what you're in.